What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. Today we're going over a Blue Eyes deck profile. This is going to be Blue Eyes Primite Fiendsmith, the deck that I did get third place on Wednesday, as well as took to the regionals. The regionals didn't perform too well. I played against Malice round 1 and 2. And this deck really does struggle against Malice. The Fiendsmith stuff definitely helps out with it. But a lot of the times, like, Malice is just super consistent for starters, as well as has, like, the ability to break this board. Like, Drill Beam does nothing to them. And then, of course, like, you know, the end board, like Spirit or Seals, doesn't really help out quite a bit either. There are some stuff that does help out, like with Druid's Firm, you know, being able to negate the Druid's Firm, and then, of course, going up into the Ultimate Spirit definitely can be nice, but Malice is a really hard matchup for this deck. So hopefully once Malice does get hit a bit, Blue Eyes will get a little bit better. Before we dive into like, comment, subscribe, this is like a 45 card build, which I have kind of labbed out. The deck is a little bit different. They playing the Fiends with cards definitely helps out quite a bit with the cards. I find that myself a lot of the times I end up getting ashed on Wishes, of course, and then getting hit with Nibiru. And the Fiendsmith engine really does prevent that from happening. You know, you can either set up Caesar or your Requiem gets ashed, and then you can just go for your Blue Eyes combo. So that definitely is the nicest part. It does kind of suck when you end up opening a little bit more of the bricks. I would say this deck is a little bit worse than the Fiendsmith Primite deck that does play the White Dust on. But yeah, we're playing Blue Eyes because we do like the Blue Eyes cards, and it is a Blue Eyes deck profile. So yeah, we're going to be diving right on in. So we're going to start off with 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon. You do not need to play any more than this. You do not need to play any less. I definitely recommend 2. And then we are still playing the standard package of the 3 Sage, the 3 Maiden, and then we are playing the 3 Barrel, as well as the 3 Engraver, the 1 Lacrima, and the 1 Larry. So, sorry for the glare there. So this is kind of like your whole engine, I should say. Like, everything is kind of just figured out here. Now, post side, you actually do change this up a little bit. So what's funny with the post side is, like, post side, you go down to 1, or you cut 1 Maiden, you cut 1 Engraver, you cut 1 Ether Barrel. Or lead or reload, and then you can decide until you're going like second cards, like your Puelias. So there is like a bunch of cut downs, and that's what's super nice about this, is that you can cut down the pieces, and because you have so many engines kind of going on, it doesn't really hurt like the deck. Like, you have like 6 copies of Maiden here with Wishes, you have like 9 copies, so you can definitely cut this down to like 2. Ether Barrel, of course, like, it's going to be a good normal summon, but you have other cards as well. So there's a lot of easy, good siding out patterns, which is really nice for the deck when you're playing all these engines like this. But we are playing like the maximum amount of all these engines. I had thought about cutting down Maiden of White to 2 in general, but then I found like my siding patterns, as well as like the consistency from 44 to 45 wasn't always the greatest. So I just decided to leave it at 45. Then for the hand traps, we're playing the most important one being the Veil. You can search this. Then we have, of course, the Ash and the Fulros, the Imperms, and then, of course, a Magnumut and a Druid's Worm. So not a lot of hand traps for a 45 card deck, but still pretty generic. You could add a Nibiru if you want to take up to 48. I just didn't think it was necessary. I didn't want to like open up. I ended up opening up 2 hand traps most of the time as well, so that was pretty fine with me. And yeah, and 2 hand traps, and then Fools kind of give you access to other hand traps is nice as well. But being able to set this off, the Tyrant Dragon has come up in testing as well. It's just like this is pretty standard for any Blue Eyes deck. Ash obviously is the best for a defensive and offensive card. Veil is not the greatest this format, but being able to search it definitely helps. And then, of course, Imperm is Imperm, and not much to say about the Bestials. Then for the spells, we're playing triple copies of Wishes, triple copies of Lordly Load, and the double copies of Tract. You do not need to play triple copies of Tract. Please do not play triple copies of Tract. Please play 3 Wishes. I know that you can cut this down to 2 if you want to. I don't think it's necessarily mandatory. I are playing the 2 Tract because of the fact that Droll, this deck, Blue Eyes in general, already loses to Droll quite a bit. When you add the Fiendsmith cards in, you have to use your cards in the right order extremely well depending on your hand. Like a lot of times, if you end up going for like Primite, you go Primite Summon, get this. On this, you get Drolled. If you have Wishes and you can't play without it, you have to use that. Or if you use a Tract first, you can do it. Now, there are some times where you can like play around roll, but it doesn't really come up. So, you know, a lot of the times you want to just start off with your Tract and then go for like your normal summon of the Primite setting. And for example, the not Lordly Load, but setting the Drill Beam if you do get trolled, and that can help you out quite a bit. So there is like lines like that where you have to be careful of. This deck does definitely reward your opponent if you do kind of orientate your plays incorrectly. Then for the 1-0s, we play the 1 Mausoleum of White, the 1 Roar, the 1 Drill Beam, the 1 True Light, the 1 Majesty, and you're playing the 1 Call of the Grave and the 1 Fiendsmith in Paradise. Not much to say about these. I know you're wondering why you're playing 45 with Call of the Grave. Because Shifter is such a prevalent card as well as Droll in this deck, but you have to find a way to stop it. All these cards are like amazing. Now, one thing I do want to mention is a lot of the times I was losing at the regionals, it was because of the fact that I was opening up bricks. Like I ended up opening up True Light and then the field spell like 2 times, and in like 4 games, which definitely does suck. And like you have so many one-ofs. Roar doesn't count as a brick at all. Same with Majesty, but if you open up both of them, it definitely sucks because then Wishes can no longer activate. Like having this plus like the spell and then also having the monster in hand definitely sucks. And there's a few times I don't like Lacrima, Lurie, Mausoleum, True Light. It's like, what do I do against this? It's not the greatest. But again, like multiple times you can side out, like you can side one of this out, and then like you have your things to play with. But I definitely think that this deck has to be over 45 or over 40 because you don't want to see these bricks. And they are like soft bricks, but they are not great bricks. So that definitely is kind of rough. Now for the extra deck, we're still playing the 2 Spirit. This extra deck is extremely tight. I don't really think there's any cards that you can change in this. There's a few cards I wish I could play if there was a 16 or 17 card extra deck, but unfortunately we just don't have the room. So we have the 1 Seals, the double Spirit, and the 1 copy of Ultimate Spirit, as well as the Black Rose, the Tyrant, and then the Neo Ultimate. This is really it for our Blue Eyes package. You can't fit any more in. There is 2 targets for the Spirits. You cannot play a 3rd Spirit. And then Moonlight just says when this does not come up against like some random things. Fire King was good against. And like Labyrinth, it was all right against as well. But other than that, not much to explain for the Blue Eyes part. You guys all know what those cards do. Then we have the Fiendsmith, we have the Moon, the Requiem, the Sequence, the Wave King Caesar, the Necro Equipped Princess, and the Desiree to kind of finish it off. Again, you're playing all the necessary cards. There's nothing really else you can like opt to play. Or we're not really like playing anything spicy. I wish we could fit an SP and a Chaos Angel, but you cannot in this deck. Those are the 2 cards I wish I could play. Like, I really do miss playing with these 2 cards. These cards are absolute powerhouses. And, yeah, there's been a few times where, like, I could make a Light and Dark Chaos Angel right now, and it would cook. But unfortunately, I could not because we didn't have the cards in the extra deck. That's it for the extra deck. Now showing you guys a side deck because I did take this to our regionals. We are playing the triple copies of Pirellia. I'm not playing Meows because Pirellia is just a little bit more into the Razio matchup, as well as right now Malice does summon from the hand quite a bit. So having this, like, reach more matchups against, like, random rogue decks as well is just a lot more useful. And then we are playing the triple copies of Biru because we're not maining it. We are also playing the triple copies of Lancia. There's no Droll, unfortunately, in this side deck. That is definitely kind of rough. I wish I could fit that in, but unfortunately I cannot. Lancia, I have not been able to Lancia a Malice player at all, other than the Vincent brothers, which both of them did top the regionals. And they've called by it or crossed it every single time. So at this point, you know, not just including in this deck of 45, but I have never gotten the drop a Lancia in the entire time that Malice has been around. I don't know how I'm not seeing this card, but yeah, I wish I could start seeing this card against Malice. At this point, I might just like stop playing altogether because I don't even see it. But yeah, Malice is super relevant. Lancia is a really good card against them. Obviously, you have to play it, but I just cannot drop it for some reason. And then we are playing 2 copies of Strike, 2 copies of Lightning Storm, and the Jerusalem and the Baldrake. Now, you don't know, why aren't you playing Droll and Lockbird? You know, cut these down. Well, the reason why is because I want to be playing in a 45 card deck. My siding pattern is a little bit different. So, you know, going second, I want to have like these cards in plus these, so I can side out a bunch of the stuff. And then going first, I want to be able to side out multiple things. Depending on the matchup, I want to put in like 4 or 5 cards. So I have to like take out those to put these in, and I couldn't really fit 3 and 3. So I just opted to play 2 Solemn Strike. And then, of course, the Tyrant Dragon can reset the Solemn Strike, which obviously is kind of nice. So those definitely did come up. I wish I could play more side deck cards, but unfortunately I cannot. Therefore, this is what kind of worked with. And it worked out pretty well. You know, for the Fiendsmith stuff, we do play this. For going second, we have the Lightning Storms, as well as, you know, this is good against Malice. It's also really good against, like, Blue Eyes and stuff like that. It's easy against Razio as well. Wiping the back row can be quite powerful against them, especially when they enter like a Desiree. They have to pretty much negate with that Desiree. And then Solemn Strike is obviously going first, stopping a monster negate. It's really good against Malice as well. You know, if they don't get the stick, their normal summon can be quite nice. But otherwise, that was pretty much it. I wish I could fit in a Primite Scream to the side deck, because that card I feel is pretty great. But again, like, side deck is super tight, the main deck is super tight, and the extra deck is super tight. I don't recommend playing this deck over the Fiendsmith Primite deck, hand trap deck. But if you like Blue Eyes and you really want to play Blue Eyes like I did, I definitely recommend playing this. I think it's a little bit better than Pure. Obviously, Pure has advantages as well. I'm not saying that you don't play Pure. I just really enjoyed the Fiendsmith variant of the deck. And I think the Fiendsmith is going to get hit a little bit on the ban list, so I want to be making sure that I'm still using my Fiendsmith cards until then. But I really did enjoy this. When you do open up crazy, your end boards are like 10 times better. Your ceiling is significantly higher. But you do have a little more chances of opening up some of the bricks when you have like Lacrima, Lurie, and of course a trap in the deck. Regardless, hope you're watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, more content like this. Stay safe. Peace.